wellness workshop, and today's topic is on the diet. So we will be seeing different phases of a female's life, and then we will see as per that what is the diet which you can take. Specifically, I would like to माझा स्क्रीन शेअर होत नाही. हरे कृष्णा.
Mataji, now you can share the screen.
Okay. Yeah. So here, because there are different phases of a female's life, there will be certain specific things which you need to take um, uh, during that phases. When you are passing through those phases, you need to take certain specific food items which will facilitate easy go through of these phases. So in that, first we will see what are the phases which are mentioned in Ayurveda of a female's life, and then what are the changes which happen during those phases, and then what specific diet can be included in that phase of the life. First thing I would like to say that Nari Shakti is a Oxford Dictionary Hindi word now since 2018. But in Ayurveda, 5,000 years ago, our acharyas has mentioned woman as a Shakti. Okay, she is a mother and source of a creation, because in her lap only all the civilization is cradled. So the Nari Shakti, actually, if you see, literally the female, even though she goes through lots of changes because of the hormonal changes in her life, still she remains stable. She performs all the responsibilities in a happy way and a responsible way. So there are three unique organs in a woman which makes her more special, and these organs actually are the site for the hormonal changes. That's why all these changes happen in her body. The first organ is the uterus, second organ is ovary, and third organ is the breast. So we will see what are the different phases, and then what are the food items. So you can see here in the picture I have shown the four phases, specifically depending upon the hormonal imbalance in a female's life. So the first phase is a menarche. So that is also called as a puberty. And in that phase, you have to take care about the mental health of the female and the breast health. Second phase is the reproductive stage. In that period, you have to take care the menstrual health and sexual health. Third is the menopause. That is a reproductive health and vaginal health to be taken care. And post-menopausal phase, in that also, that is the active phase of aging, and then hormonal health should be taken care. So you can see menarche, pregnancy. Here I have specifically included postpartum phase also, because that is also a specific phase where a female feels lots of changes in her body, and then menopause. So here I would like to mention these common things which can included in a diet, as a diet in all the phases of the female. So she has to take all the seasonal vegetables, all the seasonal fruits, all whole grains like wheat, corn, etc. All millets like jowar, bajra, ragi, all healthy millets. Then milk products which are coming from the good source. Then oils like a coconut oil, olive oil, and even ghee also can be included. Then good spices like fennel, cardamom, cinnamon, carom seeds, turmeric, asafoetida. All those things should be included. But along with all these diet regimen, you have to include certain specific things. So in Ayurveda, it is called as a paricharya. So as per different phases, Ayurveda mentions different type of a paricharya. So this paricharya actually is mentioned for the better health and to improve the quality of the female's life. So Ayurveda says it is during the menstrual phase, what are the things to be followed? That comes under Rajaswala Paricharya. Then second is when she gets pregnant. Then it is a Garbhini Paricharya. And after delivery, it is a Sutika Paricharya. So all those things are very in a very detailed way. Our acharyas has explained. And this knowledge actually, there is no need to study actually this knowledge, because this knowledge is passed down from one generation to another generation, from one woman to other woman, like our grandmothers, our mother-in-law. They keep on teaching their younger daughters, daughter-in-law, grandchildren. So like that knowledge is passing, and that is a very specific as per Ayurveda only. But because of the nuclear families nowadays, um, this traditional things has come down, because there is no longer a good association between a granddaughter and a grandmother. They are not staying together, so they can't share all these things with each other. So that's why this knowledge has come down. And even though if you see those who are like young generations, they don't want to take any guidance from the elderly person, because they feel that whatever knowledge they want, they will get it from the Google. So that's why there is an aversion towards the ancient tradition, and that's why today we I feel, at even everyone, all the females, they feel the need to discuss about all this diet regimen. So we are just revising our ancient knowledge, and which is lost because we are following all the Western tradition. So and that's why if you see in this 20th century, all these menstrual problems have increased a lot. You can see previously the menarche, the age of the menarche was little late, but nowadays the girls have started menstruating very early. Then infertility cases are also increased, and that's why we need to follow this Rajaswala Paricharya. If someone follows this Rajaswala Paricharya or the regimen during menstruation, then definitely she gets a better healthy life. So first we will see what is a menarche. That is the first phase or the first transition from a girl phase to the teenage phase. So in this, it is it will start with the menstruation. That is the first vaginal bleeding. It is in Ayurveda. It is called as a Raja Pravrutti. Raja means bleeding, and Pravrutti means starting. So it is the sign of a puberty, and when it starts, that indicates that there is a hypothalamus pituitary axis which is working well. It has started functioning well, and it also indicates the presence of a responsive endometrium. So that shows that uterovaginal canal is a patent. And this menarche, it starts from the age of a 12 to 16 years. It may vary as per the female's health and the food which she is taking. So what is the diet in the menarche? So specifically, it has mentioned that cereals should be consumed: whole wheat, oatmeal, whole grains, cereals, forage, barley. Barley has a specific importance in this regimen. Different type of porridges are explained. Then quinoa and multigrain can be taken. Then seasonal fruits, as I mentioned, all the daily regimen which one has to consume, that has to be consumed, like a papaya, grapefruit, oranges, apple should be taken. All seasonal vegetables can be taken, and all the liquids like aloe vera juice or coconut water or green juices or homemade fresh fruit juices or lemon water or any herbal tea can also be taken. And what are the things to be avoided? So this is a very important factor actually, because of this change of the lifestyle nowadays, this modernization, uh, the lifestyle has changed a lot, and the eating habits of the girls specifically has changed a lot. And because of that, it is creating a lot of hormonal imbalance. So what are the things to be avoided during this phase specifically? Like aerated drinks, fried foods, burgers, French fries, pizza, all junk food, microwave food, then packaged food, packaged candies, chocolates, cheese, which children are eating on everyday basis almost, which creates a lot of hormonal imbalance. Then salty snacks, packaged ice creams, and if you see other things like in the name of a healthy way, like people eat eggs, that is not considered as a junk food, but still these are prepared from the this is artificial they are hatched artificially, or the eggs are also prepared in an artificial way. So that's why it contains the propylene glycol or tertiary butyl hydroquinone, which is used for the which is also found in a nail polish also, and it also has a, calcium silicate. So and the these chicken and chips and all those things, they all are also coming from the factories, which the factories which are using the artificial way for the breeding, and lots of antibiotics and chemicals are also given to the those animals, so that good plump or good flesh they can have. They give some of the hormonal injections also, and then after eating all those things, so we also consume all those hormones and the wrong toxins. If you see, just even chips are also coated with the chemical substance called as a polymethyl siloxane. Okay, so which is a silicon based plastic coating. So if you want to if you keep on eating all those things, definitely our body is depositing the unwanted toxins. If you see just nugget, for example, which is either, even though those who are vegetarian, if they are eating potato or vegetable nuggets also, that is also because they are prepared with the pre-nugget mix. Okay, and it has found some mesh, which is also found in a plastics and artificial which are also found in the plastics, and artificial colors are also added into it, and flavors are also added to it. So because of all these things, it damages the health, it creates irritation to the mind, it reduces the nutritional factor. So the girls specifically, because this is like a bleeding. So when she's losing some blood for 3 4 days continuously, she needs a lot of nutrients. But if she is taking the food which is more of a junk, like, then she will become a victim of a deficiency diseases. And when she becomes a victim of a deficiency diseases, she will suffer from the depression. So nowadays, teenagers who are suffering from a depression, the percentage is increased by 58%. So that's why it is very important to guide our kids or the children or the teenage girls why they need to take healthy food. So this junk food, what it does, because as I explained that hypothalamus pituitary ovarian axis starts functioning when the menarche starts. But when they are eating this junk food or the fast food, that affects this axis, and then it creates the hormonal imbalance. And then later, if they still continue consuming all those things, they become a victim of a diseases like a polycystic ovarian disease, or some polyps, or obesity. And then you can see nowadays very commonly, if you see the girls, they are getting hair like a males, hirsutism, it is called as hirsutism. And then they suffer from mood swings, behavioral changes. So all those things are coming because of this junk food. So Ayurveda, specifically some scriptures like a Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, Bhava Prakash, they have explained the Rajaswala Paricharya. What are the things to be done during the menstruation? So this Rajaswala Paricharya is not only for the menarche or the girl who have recently started her periods, but it is only for other females also who are continuing with their menstrual cycle. So this regimen has to be followed for the 4 days of a bleeding. So we will see what are the things which our acharyas has explained. During these 4 days, what they have to do. First thing is avoid sleeping during daytime. So actually, acharyas has explained that they should not sleep on the bed. They have mentioned that you should sleep on the mat which is prepared of a darbha, because if you see, darbha is a kind of a dry grass or a leaf. It is prepared from a sacred leaf. So those who are sleeping on this darbha mat, they may not get this back pain which you generally get through the bleeding when it starts as bleeding. And then this is like a flat surface, so like a back support you get by sleeping on the darbha. And then application of anjana, crying, massaging, lots of too much laughing, too much exercises. All these things should be avoided. Then use of a panchakarma like a Svedana karma, Vamana karma, Nasya karma are to be contraindicated. Then the food, which is like a tikshna katu, that means pungent and spicy, and more salty food should be avoided. If the females are married, then the sexual contact should be avoided. And then they should not adorn themselves, should not wear ornaments. All those things are mentioned because there is some specific reason behind it. Because during this time period, if they follow this lifestyle, then it's a kind of a natural detox process which is happening. So if they follow all this regimen, then the detox which is going to happen in these 4 days will happen properly. If they do some exercises, then blood circulation will be spread to the all over body, and then that natural detox may not happen like it should be. Then if you do some panchakarma procedures like vamana virishana, then also the blood circulation will be diverted from the uterus, and then the toxins will not come out. Then other things like avoiding pungent and spicy salty food, because this kind of food actually creates more irritation because of the hormones. Already you feel more tired, irritated, some difficulties like back pain, abdominal pain, all those things are there. And on the top, if you are eating the food which also creates irritation or agitation to the mind, then definitely you are going to get affected by it more. And other things like if you say not adorning oneself or not wearing ornament is just to keep oneself self focused, not external focus but focused internally. Then always these are the other positive indications which are mentioned in the scriptures is always concentrate on a thinking good and auspicious things. So those 4 days, that's why this traditionally also what our elderly ladies used to do, they used to keep the menstruating female in another room or in a separate room, so that they can focus themselves internally. They can rewind, or they can just focus on how to improve, or next day's plannings, what they can do. So all those things can be taken care, and along with that they are told to avoid to do all the physical activities, so that they get proper rest. So and then certain food is also mentioned that they should eat the food which is made up of a ghee or a shali rice or milk. And yavaka, that is also that barley has its own importance, because barley it purifies the uterus. So that's why during 4 days, if you eat the food which is made of a more like a barley, adding more barley or barley flour, then definitely your toxins will come out easily. And then specifically it is mentioned that you should eat the food, you should cook or eat the food which in the utensils which are made up of a clay, and eat the food in the leaves. There is one question that can you explain point 3 in the normal language? Point 3, I think you are expecting the use of a Svedana karma, Vamana, and Nasya karma. So these three are the procedures or the treatment procedures which are done in the Ayurvedic treatments. Like if someone is suffering from any disease, so this is for the doctors basically, but I have included because here at our center, some of the patients, they come as of their own, and they say we want to do Nasya karma, we want to do steam. Svedana karma is a abhyangam, and after that we give the steam. So oil massage is contraindicated, and after that this steam is also contraindicated, because again same issue. When you do oil massage, the circulation will go towards the periphery, it will not be centralized. When you do steam, that time also the circulation will be towards the periphery more. Then Vamana is an induced vomiting procedure, it's one of the panchakarma. And Nasya karma is basically putting the oil in the nose. So these three procedures are treatment procedures we are doing. So if you do Nasya Karma during this time, because the oil which we are using in the Nasya Karma, it reaches to the brain because it crosses the blood-brain barrier, and then again it may affect or it may interfere the hormones, because the main site of the hormones is the pituitary gland, which is there in our brain on the behind. So that is the master gland. So okay, so this is the thing. So here I would like to mention in the diet actually that this havishanna, that means taking more ghee, taking more rice, taking more milk, taking more barley. It will definitely, those who are suffering from dysmenorrhea or oligomenorrhea or like painful menstruation or less bleeding or heavy bleeding, they can try this paricharya, this Rajaswala paricharya or this menstrual regimen. If you continuously follow eating these items only during 3-4 days, definitely you will feel the difference in your next menstrual cycle. Then consequences. So what scriptures has mentioned that if a female does not follow this regimen, if she neglects, then what will happen? Her vata dosha will get vitiated. It will become imbalanced, and then it will create more hormonal imbalance, and that will definitely affect the fetus. So when she will conceive, already she would have created some of the imbalances in her body, and that will create the abnormalities in the fetus and even in her body also. So here again, same thing, sleep on the darba mat is just to instigate the aseptic thoughts and decrease the associated symptoms like a body ache or backache, all those. Then scripture also mentioned that you should not take bath. So again, one will say 4 days you need to 4 days you need to take a shower, because cleaning perspective, you one need to clean. So again, same principle is there. When you take shower, the blood circulation goes to the periphery. So one can take shower, but it should not be long term. You should not sit under. You should not sit under shower for long period. You just clean the parts. So basic hygiene can be taken, like cleaning genitalia, then hands, legs, face, and just come out easily, like come out faster. Don't take a long bath. Then no listening to the loud voice, because again when you hear loud voice, because of the excessive bleeding, what happens, there is a rasa kshaya, the main nutritious factor which is there in our body which nourishes us comes down. Then what happens, that will create a irritation or the agitation to the mind. Normally also, if you see, if a female who is menstruating or who has a heavy bleeding, she feels irritation when she hears loud sound, or she will tell family members also that please don't talk loudly, I'm not able to tolerate it. So all those things are actually mentioned in the scriptures. Then no abhyangam, so it is strictly contraindicated, no oil massage or oil application to the body, because that creates agniman, that means that affects the digestive fire. Then diet principle, why they have mentioned more of rice and ghee and all those things, because it will help in a deepana, pachana, vatanuloman and agni deepana. That means it will, that if you take that type of a diet which is mentioned in the regimen, then your digestive fire will become up, your absorption will become up. And vatanuloman means uh, the the way of a vata. See, basically, this abdomen area, like your reproductive organs, even other organs like intestine, your bladder, anus, all those things are governed by vata factor. It's a one of the kind of a vata called as apana vayu, which governs this area. So when apana vayu gets disturbed, and its way is downward movement. It the normally how it functions is a downward way. That's why we feel the platus goes downward. So this is the normal way of the vata. So when you follow this diet, then it will facilitate this normal functioning of the vata. And then if you don't eat proper food, then what will happen? It will affect that natural movement of this vata. Eating in proper time, having a light diet, having a regular meal time, avoiding all these spicy bakery products, oily things will definitely help to natural functioning of that path. There is again one question that in point 3 there is a Anjana. Anjana means putting kajal. So Anjana is a spiritual word or Ayurveda word for the kajal. You should not put kajal. Same thing because whatever activities we are doing, it facilitates the outward movements of the blood circulation. Okay. So now second point is what they are saying: you should not run, you should not laugh too much, you should not be over talking. This is all to avoid the vitiation of the vata. To restore energy, and to take properly rest. That is the main goal behind all these things. Then good virtual thoughts, because hormonal imbalance is there. Naturally, also we are irritated. So just to avoid all these things, you have to be keep positive, keep on good thinking good things. Keep that will help to keep your mind calm and it will make you relax. So you have to just that is the goal is you are given these 4 or 5 days to take rest, to introvert and improve. So that is like a God gift for the female, so that she can take a break and revitalize herself and again come back to her normal. Then, like a menarche, after certain age, then she gets married and then she becomes pregnant. So pregnancy is another second different phase of her life. So in the pregnancy also several food items and some behavioral precautions are also listed for to be a mother. Then certain common things which always in Ayurveda like stressed out more is mixing fruit and milk should be avoided because that creates harmful allergies to the baby. Then specifically 4th month we call a mother as a Dauruda. That means she develops some specific desires which are the desires of the baby. So we have to fulfill those desires in a positive way. So she will develop some cravings that we have to fulfill, but not all the cravings should be fulfilled. If they are unhealthy, should not be. But we have to find out another choice or another option to fulfill that desire. So that is to make the baby more satisfied, or a child, whatever desires that child is having, he should get that feeling that my mother is fulfilling all my desires and helping me to grow well. Then in the pregnancy, apart from a balanced vegetarian diet, you have to take more iron and calcium. Then milk, then certain Ayurvedic ghee are mentioned. So that will come in the next slides. What are the specific ghees to be taken? And then seasonal fruits also taken. For the calcium, you can take lots of dry dates. Then traditional gum laddus, dink laddus can be taken. Then poppy seeds also can be taken. For iron and folic acid, you can have lots of black raisins, figs, saffron, spinach, beetroot, pomegranate, and apples. So this is like a month-wise regimen which is mentioned in the Ayurveda. First month of a pregnancy, you have to take lukewarm cow milk stored in a silver vessel, and you have to take it sip by sip over a period, and then coconut water and green gram soup. So that doesn't mean only these things you have to take. You have to take your daily food. Along with that, you have to include these things more. Then in the second month, powder of a balla, ashwagandha, yashtimadu, giloy. Giloy means guduchi. All these things you have to add in the milk. Then you can have petha because it is made up of ashgard, and ashgard helps to reduce the excessive acidity which female feels during the second month. Then sweet rice, khichdi, upma, pulao, bottle gourd, green gram, pomegranate, then apple, sugarcane juice, all those things plus first month diet can be taken. Then in the third month, milk with the honey and ghee. Then milk with the kulkand. Kulkand is made up of rose petals, which is also good acid. Then amala juice, shingada and rajgira dishes can be taken. Then fourth month, what our acharya say that you have to take milk by adding the butter. Then curd rice, almond, amala, pomegranate, orange, sweet lime, apple, milk rice can be taken. Then fifth month, cow ghee and cow milk. Then 3-4 almonds, 1 to 2 walnuts, porridge, petha again ashgard. Because fifth month we say that mind and brain starts developing well. So that's why all those things are mentioned specifically. 6th month you have to take. 5th month Shashte Buddhi. Acharya says 6th month the brain of the baby develops. So you have to give the food which helps to develop the brain more. So 5th month food, and along with that cow milk, cream, curd, sugar doesn't mean white sugar, it's the candied sugar. Then brown rice with ghee and Gokshura Siddha ghee. So Gokshura is a kind of a herb which helps in brain development and immunity development. Then 7th month, you have to take 6th month food along with that Krishni Parnigritam. So this is like a specific herbs which are mentioned in the Ayurveda, which are easily available in the market also. Then 8th month, you have to take rice cooked in a milk. So the ratio is also mentioned. Then pigeon ki dal, green gram dal, you have to prepare the soup, and that soup can be taken for the longer in a large quantity. And then in 9th month, you have to take 8-month diet, and along with that, 1 cup of milk, and then um, uh, at bedtime, and in that you have to add castor oil. So this castor oil just to facilitate the normal delivery and to lubricate the passage. Charaka Samhita is one of the main Samhita of the Ayurveda, where Acharya Charaka has written this Samhita, and he mentions that Evam Kurvatihi Arogya Bala Varna Samvahana Sampadam Upetam Nyatinam Shreshtam Apatyam Janayati. If a pregnant woman is taken care of as per advice, she will give birth to a child who does not have any diseases. A healthy, physical, strong, and radiant and well-nourished baby will be born, and he will be superior to all in the rest. So that is why all these regimen should be followed. Then comes next phase when a female gives birth to her child. So that is called as a postnatal care. So postnatal care, why it is important? See, every phase of a female's life is important, should not be neglected at any cost. So postnatal care, you have to restore the digestive fire because of the lot of exertion, her digestive fire gets affected. Then her vata becomes elevated, so we have to again normalize that vata. Then breast milk, because now she'll be nourishing the baby through her breastfeed. So the quality also should be improved. She has to avoid because that exertion, whatever has happened, has to be come down. And then for that, the diet also should be very light and nourishing food should be taken. So, and then along with that, to reduce the excess vata and to give her, to strengthen her, basically, oil massages are recommended. So now when the baby is born, this diet is both the ways are considered like a mother's health, because she has to regain all the vitality and baby's health. So for that she need to reproduce good amount of a breastfeed. Actually nowadays, because of all this hormonal imbalance, if you see most of the females, they don't get enough breast milk. The child doesn't get proper milk. Sometimes within 3-4 months she has to stop it and she has to start weaning the child. So that's why both the factors are important. Rejuvenate mother and then healthy baby should be there with the proper breastfeed. So for that, this postpartum diet plays very important role. So let's see what are things which you should include more in this lactation phase. If a female's breast milk is a scanty, then what she can take is almond milk and certain herbs like shatavari and all can be added. And then you can prepare it by soaking 10 almonds in the water for overnight. You can peel them and then put them in a blender, add 1 cup of hot milk and make a puree. Okay, and then you add a pinch of a ginger powder, cardamom, and saffron, and date syrup you can add, or date sugar is palm sugar is also available. That also can be added, or honey also can be added. So that can be taken twice a day. That strengthens. And the herbs you can add is a specific herb which we suggest is a shatavari. Then woman with a pitta or kapha dosha, she should drink 3 to 4 cups of a pomegranate juice. Pomegranate juice we don't suggest to the vata person because again vata will increase more with the pomegranate, as a pomegranate has a astringent taste. Then powder of a shatavari can be taken. Shatavari is very easily available. Nowadays, though, most of the females, they know shatavari should be taken after delivery because it is a galactogog. It helps to stimulate the breast milk, and it also helps to nourish the female health. Ashwagandha is also one of the very commonly used herb. So ashwagandha tea also can be taken, or ashwagandha tablets also can be taken, or ashwagandha powder also can be taken with the milk. It reduces stress and anxiety, and it nourishes the female. Then there is a combination of the herbs called as dashamula. Dashamula means 10 roots. So dashamula decoctions are prepared, and nowadays the ready-made decoctions are available which are having dashamula in it. Dashamula rishta is one of the very famous medicine. Generally, we give in the postpartum phase. Then certain things can be added, like methi. Methi is also methi or fenugreek, you can say. It is also galactogog. Then fennel, cumin, ajwain, caraway, and shatavari, which stimulate the milk production, helps in a digestion so that baby also gets nourished well with it. A breastfeeding newborn will nurse around the clock, and so that which may drain the mother. So she need to snack a lot in between her main meals like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So she can have nuts in it. Traditionally, we are preparing lots of laddus. That also can be given with the dry fruits and all. Then protein-rich food can be given like makhana. Then nut-based halwa can be prepared. Then different kind of kheer. Generally, we suggest to have a kheer which is made of a garden crease. Garden crease is also one of the herb, also known as a halim or olive in Marathi. Halim is very commonly easily available, which is a galactogog and a good source of estrogen, so that it again nourishes and brings the health of a female in a good way. Uh, then coconut base, coconut can be added. A lot of coconut should be used so that the calcium level will increase, and it also helps in a breast milk. Then turmeric milk also has a very important, significant effect because this turmeric is a anti-inflammatory. That's why if a mother is taking it on everyday basis, then it helps to avoid clogged milk ducts and swollen breast tissue. Generally, it happens in a few first few days after the delivery. A lot of milk starts forming, and then baby is not initial stages. Baby is also not capable to take that much milk, and then these ducts start clogging, and it is a very painful phase for the female. So she can just squeeze out excess milk for initial few days, and she can take this turmeric milk so that there will not be any abscess. I have seen lots of a patient, because they don't have a knowledge of all these things, they end up with lots of abscesses, and then after that they have to go for the surgery to remove those abscesses when it becomes too septic. Then comes next phase, which is a menopause. So menopause is again one of the hard time of the female. Some female feels easy menopause, but nowadays because of a change in the lifestyle, menopause is also becoming very difficult. So we will see just what are the common symptoms in the menopause. It is increased irritability, it is anxiety, depressive feeling, a lonely feeling is there. Then irregular vaginal bleeding is also there. Hot flushes are there. Thinning and fragile skin is there, and vaginal dryness is also found. So the diet. So what kind of a diet we suggest? They can have a lot of zinc and magnesium supplement. They can have a tulsi tea by adding little cinnamon, so that it will help to relieve the stress, and it also helps to balance the insulin. It also boosts the liver, and specifically female, they get sometimes sweet cravings also. So that also will be taken care by the sweet taste of the cinnamon. So during the menopause, the female starts gaining weight also. Hot flushes is also very common, and weak bones. All three things are we see very easily in a, like a, if you just see around those elderly ladies, they'll be having all these three symptoms most of the time. So perimenopause phase, she starts getting little digestive disorders, also some nutritional deficiencies, as I mentioned, as osteoporosis is very common. So she has to take, in that phase also, she needs to take very healthy food. See what happens over a period of time, because the female gets lots of responses when the child is born and all, then she starts neglecting her health. And when the menopause comes, already her bones has become very fragile. And then on the top of that, because of the hormonal changes, then it adds to it, and then she starts getting more pain in her bones. Sometimes the bones become so fragile that even little fall and little trauma here and there, and she starts getting the fractures. Just starting in that phase, better if you take care before, only before getting all those effects in your body. If you take proper food and all, then you will be easily go through. You can easily surpass all these phases of your life. So fresh, natural, and wholesome food is very important. Just eating healthy food is not enough. But if your metabolism is weak, then and if some nutritional deficiencies are there, you need to take care of all of them. So calcium-rich food is very important. Milk should be there. Milk is must. Buttermilk is good. Fenugreek, fennel, celery are very good. You can include more sesame seeds, chia seeds, and basil seeds. So as I mentioned, milk is very important factor. Those who are vegan, they can shift on, or they can opt for a coconut milk or almond milk, other forms of the milk, but milk is must. Then estrogen-rich food. See, basically because the fertile age is over now, and nature is telling to stop all the functioning of the uterus. So slowly, the estrogen, which is the main hormone, comes down. So when an estrogen is a hormone which makes a female more happy and energetic. So whenever estrogen levels goes down, she feels lonely. She feels dragged down. Energy levels has come down. Lethargic feeling is there. So we have to include the food items which are more in a estrogen content. So in that, what are the things which you can take is flaxseed, pumpkin seed, sesame seeds, then soya products like a tofu, soya milk, soya beans, or fermented soya products. Naturally fermented soya products can be taken. Then nuts and dry fruits like almonds, walnuts, figs, apricots, raisins can be taken. And then vegetables and legumes are also must. Vitamin D is also important factor. As you know, vitamin D is required for the absorption of the calcium. So you need to take vitamin D from the sunlight, which is the natural source of the vitamin D. Vagina is an important organ which also gets affected during the menopause because of the hormonal changes. There is, you can see, a lot of a dryness or itching or inflammation can be seen. So that vaginal care also should be taken. There are certain oils are there which we suggest. So the tampons which are dipped in the oils can be put if you are getting hot flushes through the vagina also. So the oils like Danvantaram or Balla oil can be dipped. The tampons can be dipped into it and can be kept in the vagina overnight or 5 to 6 hours, so that this dryness and all those things will come down. So you can see estrogen, progesterone, and prolactin. These are the main hormones which affect the woman's health. So whenever all these phases are going on, only these three hormones and one other hormone called as a testosterone, follicular stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, they play important role. And these hormones, some are secreted by the ovaries and some are secreted by the pituitary gland. So they are making the female, they are boosting up, or they are making the female more strong. So because of all these changes, that female is going through a lot of turbulence in her life. It could be on a physical level, it could be mental level, but still it's God's gift that in spite of all these hormonal changes which are happening, still a female plays a very important role in a family. She's the most responsible person. She takes care of all the family members. So you have to focus on the specifically some specific things in a menopause. Like for example, if someone is a pitta person, if someone is a pitta dominating female, so in her during the menopause, different things will happen. So it's not like all the symptoms which I mentioned in the menopause will be every woman will be getting. Few symptoms will be more in some female and few symptoms will be less in the female. So it all depends upon what body type you are. If a female is a pitta dominant, then she may get a different symptoms like hot flushes, agitation, angry mood, like that. She may become more aggressive also. So for her, what diet she should take is she can take she has to avoid spicy and acidic food, more pungent food, and activities also which are more like which will make her more aggressive. That those activities she has to reduce. If she is taking a sun bath or she is taking hot water bath for long period, that also she has to reduce. She has to focus her mind on a positive things so that she will not becoming angry on a small things. You can see after certain age, females they become more irritable and angry because of all these because the transition phase is happening from pitta to vata. So she has to cut down the spicy food and she has to take food which is very simple and easily digestible. All those things will help to reduce the symptoms. Along with that, if she is getting excessive bleeding, so she has to go to a doctor and take care of that. Menopause and vata woman. Like if someone is who is suffering from vata, who is a vata dominant female, she may feel another type. Like she may feel vaginal dryness. If she is doing work late night, then her vata will increase more. So she has to reduce that timing. She has to sleep early. She has to, if she is eating more cold food or more salads, then she has to shift from that to the warm food and cooked food. Then with that, her vata will come down.
जानवी class join करा.
Menopause and kapha woman. If someone is a kapha dominant female, then in her the symptoms of the menopause will be different. She will be more towards lethargy. She may feel more depressed, lonely feeling. She doesn't want to go socially out, or she doesn't want to mix out. She feels more lonely. So the kapha woman, then what are the things which she has to take care is she has to reduce the sweet food items. If she is eating more sweet, that will increase kapha more. If she is eating rich food, like the food which we prepare for when guests are coming, maybe adding lots of dry fruits, adding lots of ghee, milk, and all those things, that will again increase her kapha more. Dairy products increases kapha more. Nuts increases kapha more. So she has to cut it down. She has to reduce it. And if she is living a sedentary lifestyle, she has to become active. She has to do some exercises, yoga, and meditation. All those things will help. Then she can come out of her depression also. So by knowing one's prakriti, in Ayurveda, we give a lot of importance to the prakriti. One should know everyone's prakriti. One is a vata, who is a pitta, who is a kapha. As per that, she has to follow the dietetic regimen. And then with that, she can balance all the doshas and then she can balance all the phases of her life. Ayurveda provides a rich and thorough body of thorough knowledge of the herbal medicines, and that helps to balance all the. In that, Shatavari is the first medicine which we are giving for the females, which balances the hormones. So can be taken by almost every female can take the Shatavari by adding it into the milk. So if certain phases you are going through, it will become easy for you to pass through. This Shatavari, it nourishes the uterus, it regulates the calcium metabolism, then increases the bone compactness, it helps prevents the hot flushes, insomnia, and osteoporosis. Ashwagandha is another herb which also helps to maintain the balance, of the low levels of estrogen and even testosterone, which happens during the menopause. So it also helps to maintain the fatty cushion. There is a question: can a woman who is trying to conceive take Shatavari? Yes, Shatavari can be taken. Shatavari and Ashwagandha can be taken together. No, you can take it on separately. Like morning, you can take Shatavari, and night time you can take Ashwagandha. Don't mix together. Even mixing is also okay, no problem. But still, Shatavari will take care of hormonal imbalances, and Ashwagandha it helps in a good sleep also. That's why we suggest to take Ashwagandha in the night time specifically. So you whatever sleep you will be getting, it will be a good sleep, quality sleep will be there. So Ashwagandha at bedtime and Shatavari in the morning, if you are taking milk, can be taken. So this Ashwagandha, it maintains the cushion of the reproductive organs, especially vagina, and it calms the mind for the good sleep. There is a question like how much to take. So see, basically 1 spoon of a Shatavari and 1 spoon of Ashwagandha can be taken. And if you don't have or if it is difficult for you to take in a powder form, then you can have it in a tablet form. Nowadays, it is available in a tablet form. So if you are taking in a tablet form, then take 2 tablets of Shatavari in the morning and 2 tablets of Ashwagandha in a night. Yashti Madhu or licorice is also one of the good source or a good um, herb, you can say, which is a source of progesterone. And in a low dose, it is a mucolytic action. See, generally, Yashti Madhu we give to the small younger kids who have a cough cold issue. So it has a mucolytic action because it helps to expel out the mucus. But Ashwagandha is also source of progesterone. That's why along with the along with Shatavari and Ashwagandha, this Yashti Madhu can be taken. It helps to balance all the 3 doshas, so it is good. And Yashti Madhu, we tell the females to take in a medicated water form. Like you can boil the water by adding Yashti Madhu powder, 2 liters of water, 1 spoon of Yashti Madhu, boil it nicely, and whenever you are thirsty, drink that water. It helps to balance all the 3 doshas. Menopause is a time when a woman a woman needs support from her family and the community because she is suffering from mental things also like stress and fear and all those things. So we need to give her mental support also. And still, if symptoms doesn't get relieved, if you are getting lots of symptoms in a severe way, then there are certain treatments are also there which helps to facilitate all this, reduce all these problems. In addition to these specific herbal formulations, we suggest to oil massages also. So oil massages are also very important. And in a food also, you can include certain food items like a little ghee can be taken, lots of greens can be taken. Sweet is preferable in a small amount, but not too much. Sour, bitter, and astringent taste are very good. Almond milk with date is a very good rejuvenation. It is good for all the type of females. And massages, mustard oil can be used for the kapha type of a female. Coconut oil or a ghee can be used for a pitta type of a female, and Dhanvantaram oil or bala oil can be used for the vata type of female. Along with that, yoga is must. Yoga, pranayam, all those things also help a lot. It is a sister science of Ayurveda, you can say. So for a healthy woman, in addition to meditation, pranayam, chanting, yoga asanas also very important. So thank you for patient listening. I hope it would have been to some extent it would have helped to you. If you are going through certain phase, definitely if you make all these changes, you will feel the difference. Now we will just go through the question answer session.
Before we begin the questions, I would just like to thank everyone for their participation. Yesterday we had the seminar on beauty care, and today we are having this wonderful presentation on diet care. So Govardhan Ayurveda at Govardhan Eco Village is also organizing customized wellness packages for beauty care for ladies. And also very soon, we are going to begin a 100-hour course on Ayurvedic cooking. So this is a 100 hours course covered over 50 sessions spread over 1 year. And we will soon share the details on this group by tomorrow. So we thank once again all the participants. And of course, we have one more session tomorrow that is on old age care. This is especially for ladies in the age group 45 plus. So you can invite your mothers and others ladies in this age group. And now doctor will answer the questions for the next 10 minutes.
So there is a question. Is a barley and milk good for women trying to conceive? As you mentioned, it is good for the uterus. Actually, barley I mentioned in a Rajaswala Paricharya, that means menstrual regimen. So it should be specifically taken more quantity in a menstruation phase, bleeding phase is going on. So barley has a scraping effect on the uterus. So whenever bleeding will happen, it will help to stimulate or the facilitation of the bleeding, so that all the toxins which are there should come out. But it is not good for the woman who is trying to conceive, because if she's planning for the conception, we don't want what are things are there to thrown out from the uterus. So for the woman who is trying to conceive, should not take barley. She can take milk and all other nourishing food, but barley is not nourishing. It is a non-nourishing item. There is a question called as what is a shali rice? Shali rice is a special kind of a rice, which is shali means which is grown in a 60 days, and that rice generally we use in Ayurvedic treatment. So can be taken, you can get it online. Shali Shashtika rice, if you type, you will get it online. You can order that rice. Can one do basic yoga to relieve the stomach pain? See, basically, if there is a menstruation phase, so that time you should not do the asanas which will create any pressure on the stomach or abdomen. So only the yogasana which facilitates the downward movement of a vata is called as a vajrasana. That can be done if there is a lot of stomach pain. There is question: does this diet apply to for normal or C-section delivery? So this diet is because it balances all the type of a dosha, and specifically whatever excursion which has happened for the female during the normal delivery, because normal delivery is more exerting. But even C-section female, if someone delivers a child through C-section, then for them they can take the certain things like as I mentioned, dashamula or ishtam or dashamula herbs can be taken, because they will help to reduce the excess vata which is there in her body. So other things may not be, like oil massages and all those things may not be applicable for certain time period. After that she can do, because there will be stitches, and we don't want to stretch those stitches which are there on the abdomen. On the back, oil can be applied. On the feet and hands, oil can be applied. But a whole body oil massage, we don't suggest. For a thyroid patient, soya should be avoided. Yes, for thyroid patient, you have to avoid the soya. What deficiency may cause postpartum depression? See, basically, it is because of, as I mentioned, it could not be any kind of a deficiency, but it is a low estrogen level. So you can say the deficiency of estrogen. You can say that's why in Western countries they put the menopausal female on a hormonal replacement therapy, where they give the estrogen tablets artificially. So because of that, because of the low levels of this estrogen, one can go through the depression. And that's why we don't, as a Ayurveda, I will never suggest to have a estrogen hormone, but there are certain food items which increases estrogen naturally, which I have mentioned. So that can be taken in a more quantity. Please write down the names of oils for vagina. Yeah, so oil for the vagina, it is a Dhanvantaram oil. So Then there is a next question. What should be taken care? What should be taken care to avoid that? Yeah. So this oil. This is in connection with another question. What deficiency may cause post? That's what, like estrogen rich food you have to take. Lots of seeds can be taken which are rich in estrogen. Garden crisp is one of the herb which is the richest source of estrogen. You can say halim. It is in Hindi it is called as a halim. So garden crisp laddus can be prepared or the kheer can be prepared. Then please send the recording in the group. I have to leave the meeting now. Okay. We will put the recording today. Can a woman who is trying to conceive take Shatavari? Yes, I have already answered this question. She can take Shatavari. How to control or reduce weight during menopause? See, it's all weight reduction is a little difficult thing because during the menopause or in that phase, generally, female starts getting knee joint pain because of the osteoporosis. She can't do exercises much, or it's difficult for her to do exercises. So, with the diet only, her weight can be reduced. So, healthy and non-nourishing diet, healthy, heavy, and non-nourishing diet. That is the concept which we use in Ayurveda to reduce the weight. So it's not a one-day procedure. It takes time. You have to follow a certain diet regimen. Then only you can reduce the weight. Can Shatavari and Ashwagandha be taken together? I have already answered this question. What is the good food to boost metabolism? See, basically, the food which boosts metabolism is ginger. So you can include ginger in your diet or subjis or whatever you are preparing. Add a lot of ginger. It is a very good source of boosting the metabolism. Even cumin seed water also can be taken. So take 1 liter of water, add 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, boil it, and whenever you are thirsty, drink that water. It improves the metabolism. Should it be consumed with water or milk for that time? This is in connection. Yeah, can be taken with the water. Shatavari Ashwagandha can be taken with the water. So for pitta people, we suggest milk because milk is the best pitta pacifier. So instead of if you are sensitive to the milk, then don't take milk. You can take it with warm water. But if you can digest milk very well, then you can take it with the milk. What is the meaning of fatty cushion? Okay, so actually fatty cushion means the see there's villi generally in vagina. That it makes because it's a very good sign can be taken for a long term. Please, if you
Hare Krishna Mataji, your voice is breaking. Participants are unable to hear you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Krishna.
still
Am
the
I
voice
audible
is.
now?
Yeah, right now clear.
Okay, okay, fine. So ashwagandha powder and triphala can be taken which all
Hare Krishna, it is not audible, Mataji.
yes. Hare Hare Krishna. Actually, I can't type all the questions.
Mataji, you can once disconnect the audio and again connect the audio so that we can resolve this issue.
Hare Krishna. Now am I audible? Hari Bol.
No, the voice is still breaking, Mataji.
Okay. So can we cover this? Can we cover these questions tomorrow?
Yes, Mataji.
Questions. Thank you everyone. Hare Krishna. We'll end the session. See you all tomorrow.
Okay, Mataji. I have saved the questions. We will take the questions from all the participants which are unanswered tomorrow. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare